and we have a packed show today, so we're going to jump right into it, guys.
That's right, and every Thursday this month we're going to focus on
Alzheimer's Association.
November is Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and all month long, we're going to learn some signs and symptoms to look out for and how you can get involved in this cause. Very important.
Absolutely. Today, we have Yolanda Wright from the Alzheimer's Association to start us off. Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy we're having this conversation. It's so important. So for those who don't know, what exactly is Alzheimer's?
You know, a lot of times people will ask, what's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia? Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia. There's over 100 types of dementias, actually. So about 70 to 80% of all dementia is Alzheimer's. It is a brain disorder, disease that is progressive, and it affects the memory, the behavior, and the thinking. And eventually it is fatal, unfortunately. There's no cure, but we continue to have treatments that can be effective, and we continue to do our research for those.
That's wonderful. But as of right now, there is no cure, correct?
Exactly, exactly.
So, of course, a lot of times when somebody is suffering from Alzheimer's, they have to have a caregiver, somebody who takes care of them. And you guys focus a lot on that. Talk to us about who these caregivers are.
You know, caregivers can be anyone. We look at family caregivers because November is looking and noticing and being aware of our family caregivers. Yes. And, you know, it can be any person. It can be the spouse, the siblings, older adult. And 1 out of 7 falls into that sandwich generation. Wow. And so that means that they're caring for maybe a parent or a sibling in addition to their own children. Right. So that's very tough. But also we have, with our young onset people, we have parents that are actually taking care of their children. We know that most caregivers are women, about 60-some%, and then there's about 70% that fall in the category of like 45 to 64 years old. Wow. So a lot of them are still trying to maintain their careers, but many of them have to leave the job force in order to be able to do that.
Absolutely. I'm sure this becomes a full-time job for so many people, just being a caregiver.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So going back to the disease, what are some of the early signs and symptoms?
Well, it's things that's going to disrupt the daily life. So what you're going to look at is when you maybe have forgotten how to do a familiar task. Maybe somebody was doing a recipe that was known, you know, we're getting around the holidays, and you made a favorite cake and all of a sudden it doesn't taste quite right. Maybe they are using salt instead of sugar, you know, that kind of thing. Your visual and spatial relationship, there's a deficit there. So being able to tell distances between cars if you're still driving, or maybe side swiping mailboxes or what have you. And just not being able to retrace your steps if you're misplacing things. We all misplace things, but not being able to retrace your steps. That's the important key. So there's like 10 warning signs, but those are some of the more common ones that we hear about. And just losing their train of thought.
And you guys also offer emotional support.
A lot of resources for
both
those with Alzheimer's and the caregivers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's very important. The Alzheimer's Association, we are the largest nonprofit for funding for research, but we also provide a lot of care and support through our support groups, education, and we have care consultations, which is a time that we can actually sit down with caregivers or even have a family meeting, help them to plan the future of what it may need to look like. And then we have a 24/7 helpline, which is truly amazing. Anytime, day, night, weekend, holiday, they can call and have somebody, even a licensed professional, to help them.
All right, well, thank you so much. This is great advice. Definitely go online if you want to learn more. Check out the Alzheimer's Association. Thank you for being with us.
Definitely.
Thank you.